Hello and welcome everyone to this short talk about studying education at York. My name is Jeremy Airy and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Studies for the department, which means I supervise the running and delivery of all our programmes, the BA in Education, the BSc in Psychology in Education and the BA in Sociology and Education in partnership with the Sociology department. I'm a lecturer myself specialising in science education, and I teach various things on all of our undergraduate programmes. But since I'm talking to you alone here, and you might want to see more faces than just mine, here are what some of my colleagues look like. Those smiley people here would be teaching you too if you came to York to study with us. We're an eclectic bunch, as you can see, all with different research interests, some quite sociological. Our head of department, Paul Wakeling, for example, is a specialist in access to higher education. Others are more linguistic, others psychological or psychosocial. Most of us have a keen interest in policy and practice, such as our colleague Professor Vanita Sundaram, whose work on sexual violence and gender inequalities in education has led to the development of training courses and resources for schools and universities. Other colleagues focus more on culture and arts in education. Here are our more literary team, whose work looks at, for instance, representations of childhood and education in poetry, theatre, or visual culture, and the uses of literacy in education. And these are some of the people in what we call the pie team, not because of any particular appetite for cake or the number 3.1415926, I told you I'm a scientist, but because it stands for psychology in education. These colleagues carry out world-leading research in fields as varied as the genetics of education, the psychological traits of teachers, autism, social media, dyslexia, and intelligence measurement. Yes, that means that in our department on the same corridor, you might find someone analysing a genome sequence and someone else analysing a Shakespeare play. That's one of the beautiful things about being in an education department, the diversity of its staff and their research interests. Education is such a wide field of study, and you'll have plenty of time to explore all of its areas when you come to study here with us. That's the case even if you focus on one of the disciplines that work together in education, on either our psychology in education or sociology and education programmes. Our staff are also truly international, with over 20 languages spoken and with collaborations all over the world. Why do we tell you all this before we even get into what the courses are like? Because our staff and their research drive our teaching and our course design. We are big for a Department of Education and a leading one in the country, in the top 10 for research impact. Chances are 1 in 2 of you listening to this were taught science at school using a resource developed here by the University of York Science Education Group. Our expert linguists are currently working on a huge government-funded project to improve the teaching of second languages in high school. Our research features pretty much every month in the local and national press. And coming to study at York with us, you're first and foremost joining this dynamic community of learners and researchers. We're an education department, so of course we apply our keen interest in education to, well, educating better. Studying here, you'll be taught in many ways. Here's a pretty picture of some of our third years enjoying a Kamishibai workshop, that's Japanese paper theatre in case you didn't know, in a module on literacy. We believe in experiential learning, the idea central to progressive educational theory that by doing, we construct our own learning. So you won't just get lectures, but also seminars, skills training, workshops, one-to-one supervisions. We encourage and expect our students to participate in lectures, seminars and workshops. The diversity of teaching is reflected in the diversity of assessment. Sometimes you might have an exam, sometimes essays, sometimes a policy brief, a poster, a vodcast, a lesson plan. All that matters to us when we design a module is how to teach and assess it best. In other words, how can we get you to master it most fully? Coming here to study with us, you'll join a friendly and fun community. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Staff and students socialise a lot through potlucks, film nights, guest seminars, pizza evenings. Our dynamic Psychology and Education Society, PISOC, regularly invites external speakers. We have mochi parties, pub quizzes, and we mark events such as World Philosophy Day. Because the department is relatively small, we'll soon get to know you, and you'll get to know us as well. And even if the virus keeps misbehaving, let's hope not, we'll find ways of ensuring that those socials carry on one way or another, because it's a central part of our work as staff and students. Students don't only socialise together and with staff, they also take part in spreading ideas and research and in having an impact. Here are some pictures from Posters in Parliament, a yearly event where third-year students get to share their own dissertation research with MPs. You can also see here one of our students, Ruth Awolola, a published poet and spoken word artist, and other students taking part in the York Festival of Ideas. Just a glimpse of how our students are already making an imprint on the world while studying here. Success in life comes from what you do, and we'll always encourage and support you in your independent endeavours like this. We care about your learning, of course, but also about your development as an individual, keen to find your voice and your path in life. Now let's get a bit more technical. What are our programmes like? Let's start with the BA in Education. Every day newspapers are full of news about education. Social inequalities at university, teacher shortages, mental health. There are so many things to look at, critique, denounce, and above all study in this system that we sometimes tend to take for granted. If you're watching this, you're probably one of those people who've asked themselves why schools and other educational systems are organised this way, and who do they serve? Come here and you'll reach some answers to those questions. In the BA Education, you'll consider a range of perspectives: psychology, sociology, history, philosophy, politics, social policy, literature, in order to learn more about this system that affects us all. The programme gives you a very strong foundation in the field of educational studies and opportunities to specialise in your interests. Our second programme is our hugely successful Psychology in Education BSc, which integrates psychology with education to give you a strong grounding in both fields. The programme is accredited by the British Psychological Society, which means you can then apply for MScs in clinical psychology, educational psychology and similar, and go into psychological careers such as speech and language therapy. The point of the programme is to help you understand and apply psychological theory and research to real-life settings, with particular reference to educational contexts. PI students are our biggest cohort, between 35 and 50 every year. And if you're wondering why there's a tropical paradise on the screen there, it's because in your second year you can choose to study for a whole year in Greece at the University of Thessaloniki. You'll be taught in English and it's still BPS accredited. Frankly, I would go if I could, I'm quite jealous. Our smallest programme is the BA Sociology and Education, which is our only joint honours programme. By taking it, you'll graduate from both the Sociology Department and the Education Department at York, and you'll do roughly 50% of your course with us. This is an ideal option if you're someone who especially loves sociology and policy. You'll get strong training in general sociological theory, research and practice, and apply it to education with us. Please have a look at our website and at the Sociology website if you want to know more about this or about any of our programmes, including typical modules, admissions criteria and other details. And if you have questions, please do email us, of course. We're happy to hear from you. Just a few more words on what makes us distinctive. We care deeply about the employability of our students, and we've developed many ways of making sure you're fully equipped to find a fulfilling, enriching and impactful job after graduation or even before. These happy pictures are from our flagship employability programme, Step 1, which runs every autumn term for first-year students. As soon as you get here, you'll be introduced to the project. An external client working in an area related to education will present you with a real-world educational question or problem, which you'll then be asked to think about in groups of about 8 to 10 with the help of a Stage 2 or 3 student. 8 weeks later, you'll present your solutions to the external client again. This means that by Christmas of your first year, you'll all have something to put on your CV that's relevant to education, project-based, that involves teamwork, research, time management, and communication skills. Thanks to the Central Careers Service at the university, you'll also have other opportunities. A placement year between your second and third years with an employer of your choice. You'll be helped in finding a placement by the Careers Service. You can also take part in our popular YSIS scheme, York Students in Schools. It allows you to volunteer for a school for one term, a few hours a week, and equips you with the kind of experience you'll need to apply for teacher training later on, should you choose to. The department runs a careers wiki that's updated pretty much every day in term time, with new opportunities for placements, support, workshops, and work experience. You'll be supported and encouraged throughout your course to enhance your employability. So what do our students do after they graduate? Well, here's Vanessa, who did Teach First, and Ellie, who's a primary school teacher. Roughly 30% of our students get into teaching, but it's by no means the only thing our students do. Our other students do a wide range of things: journalism, graduate schemes, translating, management, postgraduate study, and psychology-related careers: assistant clinical psychologist, assistant educational psychologist, social worker training. Employers value our multifaceted students who have a wide range of skills and knowledge and a flexible mind. And we love hearing from our alumni. If you go to our Instagram at DeptEdYork, you'll see we feature news from them quite regularly. If you follow us on Instagram and Twitter, you'll get to know us a bit better before you come here to study. All that's left for me to say is see you soon, I hope, in real life, on campus or online, and please feel free to email us if you have any questions. You'll find plenty more information on our website, and you can watch research talks on our YouTube channel. Bye for now, and I hope you enjoy this unique and exciting time in your life, choosing your university. Since you're interested in education, it means you already have a sense of how important, fascinating, and also fun that choice can be.